Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John Clemente. Alongside with me are two of my bestest best friend. I'm going to start with the guy with the pink headset always, CHUBAX. How you doing?
Hello. Wait, forgot to fix our video. Our share screen. There we go. Hello, I'm CHUBAX, and happy to be here for another round of reviews.
Yeah, I'm very excited. A very cool TV series to watch this time, and the master of this series or this set of series is our other bestest best friend and co-host Arnie. How you doing?
Hello there.
If this is your first time in our channel, welcome. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to share it to your friends and families. Let them know that youtube.com/63HP is a stable of podcasts where on Mondays and Tuesdays we review a movie or a TV series. So we go deep into them, provide our ratings and our opinions about it. So you will have information whether you should watch it yourselves. On Wednesdays, plus 63 HP D&D takes over, where our very first D&D campaign, where a couple of middle-aged guys play their first campaign and record it and put it on YouTube for posterity. The adventure is super fun. Those episodes come out on Wednesdays. Thursdays we usually drop a curated list of short videos, featurettes, clips, trailers. We react to them to see how hyped we are for upcoming content. On Fridays, CHUBAX and our other bestest best friend RJ cannot get enough of D&D, so they spun off a second campaign where they are bad guys. So
yeah.
tune into that as well. And if you don't want to watch us, our faces on video on demand, you can always just go to your podcasting app of choice, search plus 63 HP. We shall be there. We prefer Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. And feel free to interact with us as well. We are on all the socials. We are on Facebook, Twitter/X, or Instagram under the handle at 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 plus 63 HP. Housekeeping done. We are very excited to jump into seemingly one of the better Disney Plus series in the Star Wars franchise, Star Wars universe. Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2 dropped on the week of August 22nd. A little bit of stats before I pass it along to Arnie for a little bit of a recap of what had happened at the end of Rebels, because it seems like this is just the newest season of Rebels. Ahsoka is again a major character created by David Filoni in the Star Wars universe. This is based on George Lucas franchise. This series stars Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano, Natasha Liu Bordizzo as my future ex-girlfriend,
so pretty.
Mary Elizabeth Weinstead, my ex-wife, now
love
current
her.
wife of Obi-Wan Kenobi, as General Hera. We have Ray Stevenson as Skull, one of the not quite Sith, not quite Jedi. We'll get into that in a little bit. Rest in peace as well. He passed away earlier this year. Luckily, he has finished all of these shows, but in the first few episodes that I've seen, he's pretty cool. I really like him. He's a very huge guy. So it's a loss that we've lost them. We have Ivana Sakno as Skull and Hati. They are Greek, if I'm not Norse gods. A wolf that is running after the sun and the moon,
Yeah,
kind of
they were
thing.
in God of War Ragnarok.
Related to Ragnarok, basically.
Yep, exactly. We have Diana Lee Inosanto. I'm assuming she is the one of the witches.
Isn't she Morgan Elsbeth? No.
Morgan
Morgan.
Elsbeth.
Morgan.
Yeah, I think she's Filipino, right?
Oh,
Half Filipino.
awesome.
There's Filipino lineage, and she's the goddaughter of Bruce Lee. So there's some.
Oh,
Damn.
yeah. She initially got introduced to the series in the
Mando.
Mandalorian series. Yeah, that was
season 2.
very amazing fight. But yes, I'm looking at it. She is Jeet Kune Do, oh, her and Eskrima, because Eskrima is like the Arnis for
Mhm.
Filipino. So Bruce Lee is her godfather. So she is very related to her. So I cannot see anywhere where she's Filipina, but I hope she is because she's pretty cool. I really like her.
Mhm.
And not seen in the first 2 episodes yet, but listed in Wikipedia, and of course also announced Lars Mikkelsen, brother of Mads Mikkelsen, reprises his role from the series as the voice of Admiral Thrawn, but now in live action. So we are slated to have 8 episodes,
Mhm.
right?
So
We are
6 more.
we have 2. We have 6 more weeks of hopefully amazing television. All the run times are between 44 and 57 minutes. So it is quite meaty. It's not, unlike Obi-Wan or some Mandalorian episodes that dip down into the 30-minute episodes.
Well, we're in the
This
first episode, so we don't know.
Yeah. But this, 44 to 57 minutes across all the other across or the remaining series is great. So that's pretty much about it. And I think this is a good discussion because I wasn't a big Star Wars animation fan. I've seen pretty much all of Clone Wars. I've seen a little bit of Rebels, but
Mhm.
that's I think one of the things that I will start with before I turn it over. So I think we have different perspectives where Arnie has seen pretty much everything. CHUBAX knows a bunch about too, and I
No, you
don't know
watched more than
much.
me.
Right, so
I do know some stuff.
that's kind of like, well, I mean, you've read the books because that's in my list. The Heir to the Throne, the Throne series is kind of a big inspiration for this as well. So I'm going to read that, but I don't have as much background, which is testing one of the things that I want to discuss later. We'll get into that, but before let's turn it over to Arnie for a little bit of a recap of what Rebels is, how it ended, and the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka before we can discuss.
Yeah. So Star Wars Rebels, basically it's an animation series that Dave Filoni created. I think it was not even Disney Plus, it was like Disney XD or something like
Yeah.
that. And I have to admit, I was a bit late to the party on that one because during when it came out, I was busy studying for my current job, basically. Um, but I did get to watch it at least twice, the 2 rounds of it. It's 4 seasons long, and it brings back Ahsoka from the Clone Wars series. The series follows a rebel cell called the Spectre team, or Phoenix, actually, Phoenix Squadron, or the
Yeah,
Spectres.
baby.
Basically, Hera Syndulla, the character that Mary Elizabeth Winstead was playing, she's the leader of the group. She's the way they describe her, she's one of the best pilots in the galaxy. So it's kind of like Han Solo, but but an alien, basically. And there's also Kanan Jarrus, who is a former Jedi Padawan who survived Order 66. There's Zeb, Gyro Zeb Morelius. He's a Lasat. Basically, the character design was the original character design for Wookiees, but Dave Filoni liked the design, so he made a story out of it, a character out of it. Um, he was featured in Mandalorian season 3 in one of those episodes. So I don't know if he will show up in this series in Ahsoka. And then Sabine Wren, she is a Mandalorian warrior. In Rebels, they talk more about her background. She got involved with the Imperials and how she ran away from her family and ended up in Harrison Dula's team. Basically, she's an artist and at one point the owner of the dark saber. So if you follow the Mandalorian, you would be well versed on the dark saber already. But she owned it. She's the one who gave it to Bo-Katan, and so she did have some lightsaber training
How did he
from
get it?
Kanan.
How did she get it?
They went to Dathomir. So remember, Maul got it from past Vizsla. Oh no, not past. Pre Vizsla.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just lying there in Dathomir, and they found it. She picked it up, and they figured out it was like the dark saber. yeah, Darksaber, and I think was it Kanan who had like a history of it. So there was like in Rebels they talked about the history of the Darksaber. So feel free to go back to those series to dive deeper into that. So she did some Darksaber training with Kanan, and then when she was able to talk to Bo-Katan, then they decided that the Mandalorians need to reunite. So she gave it to Bo, and you know, we've heard the story in Mandalorian and about what happened to Bo-Katan, so I'm not going to dive into that. And then finally, there's also Chopper, the resident droid, who is my favorite droid in Star Wars right
Very
now.
animated, but was he based out of One Piece's Chopper? Same color scheme. So
Could be,
continue, I'll check. Because like
could
I'm looking
be,
at it, he same color scheme. He's kind of like the mascot.
yeah.
Pretty cool, but yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
double check right now.
So Chopper, so for the for the casual Star Wars fans, he's basically like an R2D2, an older model R2D2 astromech unit. So, but he is very, very how would I say, animated as he's borderline war criminal. He has a lot of kill counts. I think he has more kill counts than everybody combined, except maybe the Death Star. But he is our lovable homicidal droid. And then the newest member of the group is Ezra Bridger. He's a kid who grew up in Lothal. That planet was featured in the episode 1 and 2 of Ahsoka. So basically, he ended up joining the Phoenix Squad, and they found out that he's force sensitive. So Kanan became his master, and then he became sort of a Jedi Knight towards the end, not officially, of course, but when Kanan, spoiler alert, when Kanan died in Rebels, basically Ezra had to learn how to be a Jedi by his own, and maybe some help with Force Ghosts or some holocrons. But basically, he is the one responsible for taking Grand Admiral Thrawn out of the board. So basically, during the rebellion, a lot of people think if Thrawn
In Star
was
Wars,
in, if he was in the battles, the rebellion might not have won because Thrawn is a very skillful tactician. So with Ezra taking him out of the board by use of space whales or Purrgil, so Thrawn was lost. So the Empire was kind of like they lost one of their great admirals, basically, or grand admirals. But yeah, that's basically what happened in Rebels. And in the last scene of Rebels in season 4 or the series, uh, Sabine and Ahsoka were pretty much going on a trip to find him. And this scene was practically recreated in episode 2 of Ahsoka. A little bit of wardrobe change with Ahsoka, but basically frame by frame, it's almost the same thing. So that's a quick summary of Rebels. There's more meat to it. Feel free to watch it for everybody who has Disney Plus. If you don't have the time, there's a lot of summary videos from different YouTube channels. So just find it. They'll talk about the key moments and key points so that you don't feel lost when you're watching Ahsoka, the series. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's go discuss the episode 1 and 2.
Mhm.
So the series starts with a Star Wars classic text on the screen. Although this one's a bit modified, it's not really your classic A New Hope scrolling.
It
It's just
wasn't in an
basically
angle.
yeah, it's not in an angle. It's just red font going up and down.
Great.
Brief summary, and of course we see a New Republic ship. It's basically like New Hope when it first started. We see this Star Destroyer, but this time it's more of a New Republic ship. And then a shuttle came in, and identified as Jedi. And the captain of the New Republic ship was he was a bit cocky. So he's like, "Oh, I haven't seen a Jedi in years, so let's call their bluff and let's let them in."
Mhm.
Big mistake. And in those memes, like that was not a smart decision or something like that. So basically, when the two quote unquote Jedi came in, it just gave me Phantom Menace vibes, because it's just basically like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon going into that ship, except this time it was Balin's Call, played by the late Ray Stevenson, and Shin Hati, his Padawan, basically. So there was some discussion, and of course the captain said, "No, I don't believe you're Jedi. I think you're just some Imperial trash who thinks they could just walk in and do stuff." And
That's
of
what they
course,
did.
hilarity ensued. The blades came out, and of course, and even the line, "I will show you my identification." It's kind of like Obi-Wan's like, "You don't need to see my identification," right? So a lot of parallels, like
And he did the
like what George Lucas,
line,
he did the
"We
line.
are no Jedi."
And then we are no Jedi. It's kind of like what George Lucas said. It's poetry. It rhymes. So
And
so basically,
that was one of the things that I saw in one of the reviews, is like a lot of this has been callbacks. Like, yeah, you
mhm,
mentioned Qui-Gon and Ewan, or Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
yeah,
You can also see while Ray Stevenson Skull was massacring that hallway scene,
Vader.
going towards Morgan. That's very Vader. But
Mhm.
even the line of like, we're no
We are
Jedi,
no Jedi.
is
Yeah,
Ahsoka's line at the towards, I know, but end of Clone Wars, when when she was leaving
yeah,
Anakin as a
yeah,
Padawan. You know, when she was charged as a traitor or something like that. I
yeah,
remember that episode. It's like, I am no Jedi. Anyway,
yeah, yeah. And also even with Morgan when she was rescued, it's like Princess Leia. Basically, right? Except she didn't say the line that are you too short for a stormtrooper, because Ray Stevens is big. He's not short. But basically, yeah. So basically the two, I would say, force users are mercenaries paid by Morgan to rescue her in case she gets captured, and the investment paid off. So cut to Ahsoka, who is basically walking into this temple, which we assume was the location that Morgan gave her back in Mando season 2. So basically, it's kind of like a Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, Lara Croft type of puzzle. It's kind of like a video game, basically, live action video game. So she was able to collect this sphere, which turned out to be a star map. And now, for people who are not big Star Wars fans, the old Xbox game, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, talked about a lot of star maps by ancient civilizations leading to this long lost location. So that's basically, it just brings me back to that time when I was playing that game for the first time. I was like, yep, I was solving a lot of puzzles for star maps. Yeah, so that's good. And of course, when she got the map, she was ambushed by HK assassin droids. And of course, we got to see Sorry Dawson fight as Ahsoka. It's an excellent dueling, and even with the Balin and Shin Hati, like the fight choreography is really tight this time.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, I saw some
And
people comparing Balin to like an old knight.
mhm,
So
yeah,
that's
it's
his
very
moves.
stiff, but it's still like, I like that. Choreography doesn't need to be flashy.
Yeah.
This
yes,
works,
He
yes.
right?
was very
So
efficient.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
very
very
efficient movement, and it's harkens back to the old trilogy fight choreography, and also like if these swords actually had weight on it. So so he was very effective on that one. And basically, yeah, so Ahsoka, of course, defeated all the droids. They all self-destructed, and she was picked up by Hu Yang, is a droid from Clone Wars.
I love the new nickname of Hu Yang, because David Tennant is the voice. So it's
Dr. Hu
Doctor
Yang.
Who Yang. Love
but
it.
but basically, for those who haven't seen Clone Wars, there's an episode there that the Padawans sort of building their lightsabers, and Hu Yang was there, featured heavily. Basically, this droid is a database of lightsabers, so which became useful when they were looking at the lightsaber hilts by Balin and Shin. So he was able to identify Balan's call. So it was confirmed that he was at least a former Jedi who disappeared after Order 66. So that's another backstory that we could look into. Unfortunately, actor died, so probably we'll see it in the books or comics, or maybe they'll hire a younger actor to play him in some sort of flashback or something like that. But anyways, just the banter, you could tell that Hu Yang was basically hinting at Ahsoka that you need an apprentice, you need a sidekick
Backup also.
because I can't be backing you up because I'm a droid, I'm not really a fighter or something like that. So anyways, so of course, Ahsoka goes to General Harrison Dula at in Admiral Akbar's ship, Home One. So call back to the original trilogies. So basically, she said, "Oh yeah, I found this map. It leads to Thrawn and possibly to Ezra, because again, Ezra was responsible for Thrawn disappearing. So and Ahsoka's like, well, I just can't figure out how to open this key, yada yada yada. And Hera said, well, maybe Sabine could help you out.
Mhm.
At least for Ezra, she'll do it for you. But you know, so from that alone, you could tell that there was something that happened in between Sabine and Ahsoka. So we're kind of interested on what happened between that. So basically,
So that's where maybe I think this is a good stopping point because that's a
mhm,
that's a mm, like big assumption or like a big event where
mhm,
like, oh, go to Sabine, she needs your help, wink wink. So I was like, oh, so they're no longer together. But um this is where I think the sickness of a big franchise, Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek. Oh, Star Trek has been doing well because they're doing it but by eras. So
mhm,
they've made it. But I am missing a lot of the underlying importance
context, yeah.
or the layers
Hmm.
of the show because I'm not a big Clone Wars
No,
fan
but
or a Rebels fan.
whatever happened between them wasn't shown in the cartoons.
It
So
wasn't
that's the
shown.
thing.
Yeah,
My assumption that it was. That's why I had to
yeah.
do a quick check. It's like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That would have been cool. I didn't know that Sabine was training to be a Padawan. So that would have been
Yeah,
cool. Like, oh, that's fun.
yeah.
And then I
Nobody knew.
started, yeah, I
Nobody knew.
started checking. It's like, oh, it's just at the end of Rebels, they left together,
Yeah,
assuming, and then we like, so there's so much meat in there.
yeah,
They left together to find Ezra. So not only did we not know what happened to Ezra or what happened, how long their events were, they're being smart. In
mhm,
episode 1, during the event, they were saying like several years after
mhm,
Thrawn was, overthrown by these rebels,
mhm,
General Hera, etc., etc. So they're smart. They're not pinpointing how many years in between, what
mhm.
had happened. So those are the things that because if it were any other franchise, I would just wait until they explain it to me, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
but because this is Star Wars, now I have to check. So wait, was it in Rebels?
yeah,
Was there a season of Rebels that they've shown that Ahsoka and Sabine were looking for Ezra and training to be a Jedi? Can that happen? That would have been.
yeah,
I should have learned about a Mandalorian Jedi. I know
yeah,
there's ancient ones, so those are the things that are screwing up my head when I'm
yeah,
watching Ahsoka,
yeah,
which is I'm enjoying the show, but it is just dulling the excitement a little bit thinking
yeah,
that I need to I might need to catch up, or again this is one of those things like so it wasn't in the series. So nobody
yeah,
knows what had
yeah.
happened. So all right, so sorry to
Yeah,
disturb it.
and the problem too is like, okay, there's a lot of quote unquote canon things happen either in the comic books, the official canon books as well, video games. So a lot of fans who are either just movie watchers or they also ventured towards the TV series, but they might not watch the cartoons because it's cartoons. Or they just watch the cartoons, but they don't read the books or they don't play the
Mhm.
video games. So, like, if you ask me about Jedi Survivor, I don't know because I haven't played the game. So there's a lot of things that happen in video games, and even in Mando, there's a lot of references that happen in Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, and I never played that series because again, I was busy doing life stuff. Uh, but the thing is, like the thing that Filoni did here, at least with episode 1, because he wrote it and he directed this episode. It's long enough. There's a lot of exposition, so a lot of fans who just like, so a lot of fans who just like the lightsaber and pew pew pew, they probably got bored. But a lot of casual fans, or maybe like you, John, like, oh, okay, so even if you don't watch Rebels, you will see that Hera is somebody important because she's a general. They kept emphasizing she's a general.
You see Sabine very stubborn,
Yes,
very
Sabine's very stubborn. So
an
she did like,
actual rebel, right?
so she did this whole Trap Family Singers Sound of Music, callback like Sabine ran, and nobody was showing up.
Nobody was there.
So, and Clancy Brown, he also voiced that governor. Uh, but basically, it's a good intro to the characters. Ahsoka, not much introduction because we saw her in Mandalorian. The only thing that fans are griping about right now is that the shows keep referring her as a Jedi, but if you watch Clone Wars and Rebels, you know that she left the Jedi
No,
Order.
very
So she,
clear. I am no
yeah,
Jedi. That was one of the
yes,
major quotes.
yeah. So she did have to say to Hera when they were talking about Sabine, yeah, Anakin never finished my training. I walked away from him just the way I walked away from Sabine. So it's just basically establishing that she's not officially, like, if the Jedi Order never fell, if Order 66 never happened, she would have been just a regular Force user. She's not a Jedi. Um, and that's the whole thing. Like, basically she quit the job. But of course, in the show in Mandalorian, she was the Jedi in the Jedi episode in season 2, and then here, even in the text that started in the show, former Jedi Knight, and people are like, well, she wasn't a Jedi Knight, she was a Padawan. So a lot of people are just nitpicking,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
but for me, it's like, you know what? In terms of skills, at this point in the timeline, she's probably a Jedi Master by now. Like, she's really good. I mean, um, and the thing is, even in Rebels, Kanan technically never became a knight. He was a Padawan when Order 66 happened. But the Grand Inquisitor, when he became a Force Ghost, he became a Jedi Templar. It's a lot of callbacks. So his knighthood became only like from a forced vision or something like that. So technicality, is he really a knight or not? So it's a lot of you just have to turn off a little bit of your logic when you're watching some things like this.
For all intents and purposes. Like
Or
that's
yeah,
that's the thing now. It's like, yeah, she didn't graduate, but come on.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, Luke Skywalker, how did he become a Jedi Knight? He was barely a
And these are
Padawan,
just label someone.
right? But yeah, but again, it's just people who have a lot of extra time nitpicking. Like for me, I just like, you know what? I'm just enjoying the show. Dave wrote it, Dave directed it. It's official. Anyway, so of course, Sabine figured out how to open the map, but she got ambushed by HK assassin droids, and Shin Hati was there. And again, that probe droid was Darth Maul in Phantom Menace. Basically, it's a lot of callbacks, right? And then of course my nitpick with Sabine in this episode. Okay, you're going to battle. You could have at
So
least
hard.
worn some of your Mandalorian
Beskar.
armor.
There was no
Well, I
time,
mean,
bro. There's no time.
yeah,
He was trying to catch up somebody who
Yeah, that's
who
true.
who's
she
escaping with
actually
this.
had the fucking. I see. This is one of those things where I like Dave Filoni's attention to
Yeah,
detail, because like I've also rewatched some of the episodes that he directed,
yeah.
Mandalorian and stuff. I saw the one on season 2 with Ahsoka. It's very slow.
Mhm.
Extend like that when Sabine was like riding his motorbike, escaping or not going to the ceremony where she was being honored.
Yeah.
A long ride, so just you can
Mm.
see every part of her, and then the small details where the fucking lightsaber was just like underneath in a box somewhere underneath her desk. Her
Yeah.
Beskar armor and her helmet is in different boxes. It's like, okay, I understandably, because like I was like CHUBAX, like if there was a fight and then I'm being attacked, I at least grab like a gauntlet to just or something
Yeah.
to protect something.
Yeah.
But
No,
when she was
there was no time, bro. Somebody's stealing the map. You just get something and go.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah, but
I mean, I
wear
was thinking one
armor.
thing, but like I
She did
realized
get
at
one
the
thing,
end
the
when she was
lightsaber.
yeah,
yeah.
that was the only
Actually,
thing, her lightsaber was
But
like
here's the
in the
thing too. If I'm a Mandalorian, so I'm used to my blasters versus a lightsaber that I barely trained on, and I just put, just
we
like
don't.
me.
You're assuming that she didn't train on it.
Yeah.
We
And the
don't
thing too is
know.
like it's almost like
I'm pretty sure because even Huyang said that she tinkered with it already. So that means
she
she
did,
spent
yeah,
time with it.
yeah.
So she trained with
I
it
would,
already.
yeah, but but again, you just have to suspend your a little bit of like we
I
call it,
think that no, I think that was purposely done because
yeah.
I this is not from me. It's one from the one of the other from of course one of our favorites, New Rock Stars,
Mm,
EA Boss. Like her hair
mm,
being long is so he had like a little segment saying that Sabine was known for her short hair because she
mm,
never it always got caught whenever she was either working or fighting. That's why she
mm,
kept it short. So
mm,
having her hair long showed not only the passage of time of how long it has been, but also how soft she has gotten in terms of the fighting.
yeah,
She hasn't been fighting a lot. All
exactly.
right. So she's just been surviving. So I like that idea. And I think all of those details, that's where Filoni's
Yeah,
love for the characters is like, yeah, put the lightsaber was not in a wall mantle in a
yeah,
safe. No, it was in a fucking box underneath her work table.
yeah.
Her Mandalorian armor, right? It wasn't,
Which it's a
you know,
big deal. It's
it
a
was
big
big deal.
deal
It
for,
wasn't in a special chest. It
yeah,
wasn't so. It was literally under her desk in
yeah,
separate boxes. That's why she had to like when she was assembling it. So I was like, all right, that's I like that texture. It's like, oh,
yeah,
it has been despite this brewing new darkness.
yeah.
There was a time of peace in at
Mm,
least in Lothal where she was just she's a commander,
mm,
chilling, not doing much, living in a fucking the tower where Ezra
live.
lived,
Yeah,
far out in the outskirts. So I do think that like, all right, okay, I do see. I didn't know that, but at the end of the episode, I kind of understood because I was
yeah,
thinking that as well. Like you're Mandalorian and you're a Jedi, you should to be like more
yeah,
prepared than that. But no, like
yeah,
you're a rebel. You're
yeah,
you're not doing your
Yes,
responsibility.
there's
You're
nobody to
yeah,
fight
bullheaded.
for
You're
the past
stubborn.
what
yeah.
5-10
Plus,
years.
plus, it's also again another callback to Obi-Wan because when we saw Obi-Wan in that show, he was just working. He cut himself from the force, so he barely remembered how to fight when he had to fight. So again, we could see that Shin, a more superior fighter, was just basically toying with her. Ended up stabbing Sabine, which is like a cliffhanger for episode 1. And of course, the fans were just like mind blown, like, "Oh, she survived this stabbing again." It's kind of like with
Again,
Riva, right?
again,
And then I don't know if because that guy who does the deep fakes because he does Qui-Gon and Anakin now alongside Obi-Wan. I can't wait for him to react to that. But basically, all these memes about Qui-Gon is like, oh well, it happened once with Riva. Okay, that's fine. And then
No, but
they
it
Sabine got
depends
stabbed.
on
Like,
also where you were hit. And if
yeah.
she was
No,
hit
yeah,
but
on
I
the
mean
right
like
side,
yeah,
that
and the
was
thing,
exactly my same thought,
yeah,
Arnie.
it's
It was
not.
like, wow, if it's early on in the series, she's not gonna die. So,
exactly.
it's true, but like
And the thing is,
these lightsaber stab wounds are arbitrary. So I was like,
yeah, and the thing is, like, I think I made a comment on one of the Facebook posts, is like getting stabbed by a lightsaber in the chest or in the torso, not really the chest, torso, is the new getting your hand cut off. Because remember, in the trilogy, or the original trilogy, and even the prequels, Skywalkers tends to lose hands.
loose hands.
So, but and then Qui-Gon, when he got stabbed by Darth Maul, one, he's older, and the thing is, I think there's some background, or somebody also made us because Qui-Gon was basically divesting his force powers to become a force ghost eventually, so he's not as
Mm,
strong as he would
I
have
think it's
been.
just you don't need to think about that, right? I think it
Yeah,
was just the location. If it nicked
yeah,
the aorta, then he's fucked. For her, it was
Yeah,
on the side, on the right side, so it missed the heart.
yeah.
It could have been
Plus,
just hit the lungs or something.
It
yeah,
was in the
plus,
stomach side,
And
so
yeah,
yeah,
it
like
plus,
cauterizes
anything.
also,
itself. It cauterizes
plus look at,
itself.
the time the time lapse. He got stabbed, and then Kenobi had to wait until that ray shield opens,
Mm.
and then fight Maul, kill Maul, or
A lot
kill
of
Maul,
time.
and then finally talk to him. So like,
I think it's
okay,
just like if it's chest, like in the first scene, like the captain was stabbed through the chest,
yeah,
so he's dead.
yeah,
We remember Ming Na Wen, whose stomach exploded. She got a
hmm
new stomach.
yeah,
So so
Yeah,
that's
people
and
are resilient, but it's just like getting shot with a gun. Not everybody gets shot
yeah,
and die agad.
yeah,
Some get
exactly.
shot multiple times and they survive, and then some get shot once and then they die.
Yeah,
It's just
and,
location and it
and
happens.
in RRR,
Oh
man,
yeah,
people, let's not even go back, but yeah, but basically, so cliffhanger.
people gotta
Jump
chill.
into episode two. Jump into episode two.
If they want to nitpick
Sabine,
something, it's well. What's the name of the apprentice?
Shin,
Shin
Yeah,
Hati.
Shin Hat.
what if you're gonna nitpick something? It's like for
She's
Star
too good.
Wars. No, why do they pull it out straight? If I was gonna stab someone, I'm gonna make it swing like that,
Go
and
swing
just like
Or
across, right?
fucking
Yeah.
cut
double
you half
tap,
or something.
double
But I
tap.
think yeah, she was just playing with him, so she was like,
Yeah,
not even
and
worth
and and
killing.
and I think even Eric Voss said that maybe the instructions from Balin is like, don't kill any Force users, just
Yeah,
injure them.
yeah. You know what? Good point. Because towards the end, middle of episode 2, Balin
Yeah,
was saying like, "Oh, it's
It's
such a
sad.
shame
Yeah,
because there's
yeah,
yeah,
just so
yeah.
few Jedi left." So
yeah,
okay, that's a good
I
point.
like how they're
Again,
doing
yeah.
him. He's like he's not outright evil. He's just like I
Yeah,
don't know, merc,
he's
right?
one
Like
of
with a
the yeah
sentimental merc.
he's a
he's one of
survivor.
those like I guess the legends people, like the gray Jedi, like not entirely good, not entirely bad, but neutral, right? Maybe he's like what? He's not, lawful neutral. I don't know. We'll see.
More chaotic, I
But yeah,
Lawful
think.
evil, I
A
think.
lawful evil,
lawful
yeah.
evil. Yeah. Anyway, so in episode 2, basically, as Ahsoka does a CSI, tries to retrace the steps of those droids, and fortunately for her, one of the droids stayed behind, and she was able to decapitate it. And then Sabine worked her magic, was able to retrieve the memory of the droid, and we find out that he came from Corellia, so it was one of the major shipyards. Here we see the Phantom with Hera doing a surprise inspection, and again a callback to Mandalorian season 3, that the New Republic. One of the big mistakes that they did is that they hired a lot of ex-Imperials.
Well, like he said, I don't know if that's a mistake. I
It's
don't know the
just that
solution.
it's like
I don't know
it's
the solution to that one. Like if
Well,
there was not enough people to hire, I don't know what uh,
I
they would have
love
what
worked.
what again,
I,
this is great, right? Again, Dave Filoni wrote this.
yeah,
And I love fuck, what's her name? Ahsoka's explanation. It's not loyalty, it's greed.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I
yeah,
said that was one. So we've seen this all the time, and there's always this kind of like, oh, there's this charismatic underground leader. No, 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 it's just greed. It's like,
yeah.
that's a good explanation. I
Yeah,
really
because the dude did say my loyalties with my investors. Well, who could
100%.
have been investing with you? At Morgan could be, right?
But
Or
yeah, you're doing something else. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I really like that. I really enjoyed the explanation,
yeah,
and I also appreciate the fact that um they cast the doctor from House. Like he's one of House's doctors too. So it's
yeah,
like, all right, you look like a dweeb nerdy kind of thing. Like you fit this bill. I like
yeah.
it.
You're a corporate new crony or something like that, or henchman. Yeah,
Mhm.
but yeah. So of course there was a hyperdrive. Yeah, that was being repurposed. And I like that they say, oh yeah, that came from an SSD. I was like, what SSD? Solid state drive. Oh, Superstar Destroyer. So I like that they're doing all these acronyms or shortcuts now. So it's because it's almost like a shorthand. Like, oh yeah, my Beamer or my BMW or whatever, right? And then of course, yeah, the imps basically showed themselves and they got defeated by Ahsoka. She tried to chase the shipment, but she encountered
Merrick,
I think
Merrick,
Marok.
Marok.
Yeah, he's dressed as an inquisitor. I don't know if he's actually an inquisitor because we never know. It's another new character, and a lot of the theory says that this one is Ezra. Like, well, if that's Ezra, then they found Thrawn. Then why are we still looking for him, right? So
Like Malak, there was like yeah, I was looking at it.
yeah,
That's not Ezra, dude.
that's
Come
not
on.
Ezra. And the thing is, there's a lot of Inquisitors. There's a lot of fallen Jedi, but that duel again. Oh my goodness, that's really great.
Great, great. I
Yeah,
mean,
Love it.
it's just cool. Like my favorite part was the Malak got the text that
mhm, yeah,
about to swing by, picking you
yeah,
up, and then he throws the spinning lightsaber, runs
yeah,
away, jumps on board, and then calls the spinning lightsaber back. And Ahsoka just like moved
yeah,
ever so slight. Oh, that
yeah.
was badass.
That's like a Super Saiyan movie. Like, yeah, okay,
That's so
whatever.
cool. That's John Wick style cool. I
John Wick
like it.
still, yeah. And then meanwhile, Hera and Chopper, our favorite droid, was chasing the ship, and there's a funny banter. I can't do it justice, but basically Dave Filoni voicing the droid Chopper, who suggested, why can't we just shoot it down? And Hera's like, well, it's gonna fall in the port city, and like, is that bad?
I didn't realize that Filoni voiced that.
Yeah, even in Rebels, he's the voice of it. But this time, the way it was being voiced, you don't even need subtitles. You could basically say, "Yo, shoot it down." Was it bird, or were you looking at my stuff? And he's like, so yeah, it's a classic Rebels scene, and of course they were able to put a tracking device on the shipment, so at least it's not a total loss. And of course, Balin and Shin and Marok and Morgan went to the planet where the star map was pointing at. So basically confirmed that Morgan is a Night Sister and that this ancient civilization, so again, going back to Knights of the Old Republic, there was the whole ancient civilization that created hyperspace and all these technology. So that might be referencing that. So we'll see. The Rakatans could be one of that. And also it's a different galaxy. So again, so this Star Wars galaxy, you know, is now going to jump into a different galaxy. So it's almost like we are in the Milky Way galaxy, and then we're going to another galaxy,
Going to
so
Andromeda. Yeah.
Andromeda, right?
It's exactly like
So,
that.
or basically, it's going to be a bigger scope now because now it's a different galaxy. So who knows? Maybe the laws of physics are different. Maybe there's the force. Maybe there's no force.
Yeah, I'm still
Maybe it's
hoping that they're gonna do an alliance because there's gonna be a bigger threat. Because I love Thrawn and
that's
I think he's gonna be a
yeah.
good.
And Thrawn, and the thing is like because there was all speculation. Well, wouldn't Thrawn kill Ezra?
He's not.
Knowing
He's
knowing
not
Thrawn, he's like,
petty. He's
no,
not ruthless.
no, yeah, exactly. Like, plus, well, we're both lost. I only know you, and the
Yeah.
enemy I know is better. So he's like,
And
I'm gonna
you're
use
kind of a Jedi. You're kind of useful.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So you're an asset. So they're probably going to be working together. So that could be a plot twist that maybe Ezra, maybe they just become best friends or something like
No,
that.
they're gonna find a threat that wants to invade the galaxy,
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly. And
who
the thing is,
nobody else can lead them like Thrawn can. So
oh yeah, I mean, I would, I would follow Thrawn,
I would follow Thrawn.
that blue cheese guy.
I
But
mean,
Oh,
anyways,
so
if the Emperor followed on Thrawn, the Empire would still be ruling because they wouldn't
well,
have made the Death Star.
they should have made the TIE Defender, not
Yeah,
the
the
Death
TIE
Star. But
Defender. Yeah.
what I love about all of these theories that I've been reading and having watched that episode twice now, like episode 2 saw it twice. Um, Morgan just keeps on emphasizing that it's not just space, it's
it's
also
time.
time. So
Hmm.
that's cool because the idea of it's like, how will you get a map to an ancient map
Hmm.
to a place that your boss went to right? So the simple, I like layered ideas that is simple.
Mm,
It was possibly Thrawn that
mm,
had influenced. Thrawn went to a different galaxy, but also a different time, and
mhm,
he influenced the Night Sisters to make that map so that future them will find them.
mhm.
So I was like, oh, okay,
I mean,
might be
yeah.
just a theory, but a theory. I like it.
Well,
That's enjoyable.
it's a timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff, right?
Mhm.
But
That's why
yeah, but
they
basically,
got the doctor.
yeah, there's also a theory that this galaxy could be, I don't know, Milky Way. I hope not, but
Yeah, but a different
It's
there's an
time,
gonna be
right?
option.
the I
Yeah,
know. It's
different time.
gonna be the how do you say it, Arnie? Yuzon Vong or what's the name?
Yuuzhan Vong,
Yeah,
yeah, it could be.
it could be the one
But
invading.
basically, yeah, the only thing I don't want it to happen is like if it's a Milky Way galaxy, it's gonna be like Battlestar Galactica. Oh, it was in the past and now we have present Earth. Like, no,
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 they're not gonna connect it
no,
to the Milky
don't do
Way
that.
galaxy.
Don't do that. But yeah,
They're not gonna
but
do that.
somebody has suggested it already. But I like no. There's a lot of galaxies. But basically, yeah. So that's when the episode ended. Um, like I said, the fight choreography uh is just mm, mm, wow.
And they got three Force users to fight, so that's gonna be
Hmm.
it's only one Ahsoka.
Yeah, yeah.
You can really see the Filoni touch
Mm-hmm.
immediately in the first two episodes. I know the last season of Mandalorian. I enjoyed it. I love that there's a lot of Mandalorians. I love that we have a lot of Bo-Katan in it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just different. There's just a little bit more kind
Yeah,
of
it's
flair, but
it's
slow.
it's more of the mythical, like yeah, because they were talking about legends, myths, stories, and then magic. Because the Night Sisters is the force that they use is through magic, right? So yeah, so time. Because also, I don't know if you saw this episode in Rebels, Jong, the World Between Worlds.
No, I'm only in season one, so that's
Yeah,
not
okay.
in.
So it's an interdimensional thing that Ezra was able to travel to, and he was able to influence stuff in the past. Just think of it like the what's that the time bowl or whatever, chrono bowl, but better.
I again, everything here I really enjoyed, and it's I wish I could give it a perfect score, but
Hmm.
again, it's something in the lore is pulling me back because I don't
Hmm.
know a bunch of it.
Hmm.
But I do like the idea, but also everything looks great. Like
Hmm.
the
It's not just
look,
the volume; they're using sets
yeah.
too. So,
Like I love the speeder look. I love
mm,
the look of Lothal, both the city and that outskirts with the tower fight
mhm,
is great. Like my favorite parts, like when Sabine and Shin was fighting, and then Sabine fell to her back and then
mhm,
braced like a back
Mm-hmm.
bend kind of thing.
yeah,
That's
Dude, I'm putting
yeah.
it
practical.
now. That was the hottest lightsaber battle in
Well,
Star Wars.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I was biased. I didn't want to say
Well,
it because both
I,
look great.
well,
they're both
it's a
I'm
Shin
crushing on both
Hati.
of them.
Shin Hati,
They're
Right?
really hot.
okay, and Sabine
Yeah.
wrecked me. But I
Oh
was just,
yeah.
but I mean, the only thing I wish, the one thing that I wanted to have happened was when during that fight scene. I wish that's when Sabine had some of her hair
Cut
cut
off. Yeah.
cut off, so
I
that
think they were
she,
going for the symbolism of her cutting
yeah,
hair.
Yeah.
and at the end when
Yeah.
she was like
Yeah.
right there. But
Because
I
it's
guess
also a callback to Kanan when he cut his hair. Uh, John, what do you think about the Loth cat?
the car was
It's
dope.
cute. Yeah,
Right?
So I
very
know
well
that
done.
that's it. Yeah,
As
that's
a
important
as a
in
cat
the
dad,
Rebels.
I'm assuming you love that part too.
I really dug the early warning system, at least fairly useful. Like 1 second, sure, whatever. But I do like that idea. But yeah, everything is I think let's go roundtable. What do we think about the episodes? Let's start rating it, and then the things that you loved and didn't love. Let's go with you, Chubax.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9 because just because I know I'm crushing hard on
Mm-hmm.
Leopardizzo and Shin Hati. What's it?
Shin Hattie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shin
both of them,
Hati.
and yeah, like you said, everything's well done. All the characters are nice. I mean, I haven't seen all the Clone Wars or the Rebel episodes. I've seen enough, and I've seen a lot of
Mm,
clips on YouTube to be familiar enough. And
mhm.
Fort is my go-to guy. So if I have a question, I just ask. Like I was
Mm.
texting Fort like, was Sabine force sensitive in the game? In the Rebels, and he said no. There was no
No.
signs naman.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I think she is, but she's like the lowest of the low.
Dude,
Like
That's why
that's what
that's
Huyang
why
Huyang
said it.
said.
we
Yeah, that's Huyang would say.
Huyang
So
said it best. Like, I've known every Force user ever, and you are not good at
no,
you're
but
not
it
better
means
than
that she
any of
has it,
them.
right? Because
Okay.
she's the lowest, but
I
she's
mean,
part of
uh,
it. So
But I think
she
everybody does, huh? Right? Isn't that
yeah,
yeah.
what
that's what
we are trying
the
to move towards? Is
midichlorians are all about. It's like, everybody has it. It's just a matter of being able to wield it or
Yeah, but
use
I
it
mean,
or
if she's in the conversation, that means she's at least like
yeah.
able to
Yeah.
do a little bit. So
I
we'll
mean,
see, or we'll see. But
it's kind of like with General Grievous. Dooku trained him in the Jedi arts.
my
So
also my other question was there any romantic things with Sabine and Ezra? Because Ezra dropped the sister
brother
thing.
sister.
so initially it seemed like he had a crush on her, but that arc got dropped quickly. So I guess one thing about Filoni too is like he doesn't make love stories.
Doesn't do
Oh,
romance. That's
He
what I
doesn't do
so
heard
there's
too.
romance.
so they're killing it. They're killing the romance.
I
I
think
think they're brother and sister.
I think officially they basically with him saying, "Oh, you're like a sister to me now."
I know.
She
I
got
don't know.
sistered.
I
it's
wonder.
family.
It's more family, and the thing is like with the exception of Padme and Anakin, Filoni didn't like in the Clone Wars. There's Satine and Obi-Wan. There was that, but again they killed that quickly because by killing Satine that ended it quickly. So with Sabine and Ezra, I think it's more of like yeah, I mean, it's not the first time sister brother were crushing on each other
No, but I think
in Star Wars.
it's much of a tighter bond if it's
Yeah,
family because
yeah,
Sabine is alone.
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know,
And
but it's just the way she's pining over him. It's a little more than what I don't know. For me, it's a little more than what a
Well,
sister would
well,
react.
initially she was annoyed at him because
No, no, no. I
he
mean the
was
way she's acting in Ahsoka.
well
It's a
now
little
because
more
she
like
lost him.
romantic pining. So I don't know.
Yeah, because she lost him. So it's
yeah.
kind of like you don't know what you got till
Well,
it's
well,
gone.
actually, I think that's a good interpretation because Chubax, you and I have the same explanation. That's why I think they're brother and sister,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's so so your angle is she's pining so much because of the romance. For me,
Yeah.
it's like I wouldn't pine this much for a boy or for like a for a romantic interest, but for a brother or a sister, I would.
Mm,
So
Mm.
I
it's
don't know.
our different interpretations, which is a
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
thing because
yeah.
now we
But
can
yeah,
weigh
I'll give it a 9. Just
Yeah.
because the minus one is just like Jong said. There's a lot to be. It's basically Rebels live action part 2.
It's
So
season 5, yeah.
without watching it, there's a lot of people. I mean, I
Hmm.
saw GameStop review give it a 2 because shit, they know like they don't know anything about the Rebels, so they were so
rebels.
lost. So,
Yeah, that's
Mm.
understandable. Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
give it again. Same with CHUBAX. I give it a 9. Same reason.
but
I
it
love
it looks
everything.
good. The
It looks great.
Hmm.
cast, the effects, the practical effects also.
The music,
Oh, the
man.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
I was researching about the music too, and the guy that is doing the score is heavily influenced with John Williams. So
Hmm.
he's trying to really,
And
really
yeah, and
modernize John Williams'
the
theme.
pacing is pretty good too. So
Hmm.
never got bored. So I'm
Yeah,
good.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Again, I spoke a lot about how the Filoni touches there. There's just a lot of care about the characters, about
Hmm.
how they react, how about what they say, what they talk about. So he really knows the characters. That's why it's like this. Like even even small things like Ahsoka not being forthright about her feelings, with Sabine needing Sabine, and Hera that's why she's a general, manipulating things behind the scenes and being kind of like the voice of reason. Even Hu Yang, right? It's like everything was done very well. My only additional question is, we see a live action Ezra there, and it is casted by a person.
Mhm.
If we do find Ezra, is that dude going to be Ezra?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. So they made him a little
Yeah.
younger in the video. Maybe they edited it a little to make him a little younger, so that
Yeah.
when he comes back, his normal will be like a little more
Oh,
gruff.
I was like,
Maybe
I was under the idea because I don't know the dude.
I think he's
the
the
actor
dude
they
from Aladdin,
posted.
if I'm not the live action Aladdin. I think that's him, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so let me just check out the. Okay, he is Aladdin.
Yeah, he is Aladdin.
Okay,
Eman
so
Esfandi.
all right, so
Yeah.
here, because like I didn't check this out, so I'm like, we know now that they are gonna find Ezra because they fucking casted Aladdin for it.
Yeah, and Thrawn. I mean, if you
Well,
found
yeah,
Thrawn,
but the idea of it's like I was assuming that or what I was thinking is, what if when we find Thrawn and we find Ezra, there's a time jump for them, like for people in Lothal and in this galaxy, it's been 10 years, but for them it's been 30,
Interstellar,
right?
basically.
So it'll be like, yeah, because different galaxies, you don't expect
Yeah,
them to kind of like,
the time will
right?
flow faster, slower. Yeah,
So it could have been like they could recast it as a Riz Ahmed, or like I'm looking at it now on Google, like they have Rahul Kohli
They can cast Riz
as
Ahmed. He was already in Rogue One, right?
he's a Bodhi.
that's
Yeah.
true. Or like Oscar I well, I was gonna say Oscar Isaac, he's already Poe
Poe
Dameron.
Dameron.
So yeah, but I was thinking like it could have been recasted, but now we see Aladdin. He's gonna be in this universe. He's gonna.
Yeah,
I think like he'll probably has his own spin-off in a couple of years. So
could be.
yeah.
Could be.
Okay, 9. Arnie, what's your rating?
I'll give it a 9, only because they didn't have Zeb, no Hondo Onaka, a lot of rebels. But yeah, I do agree that you do need some homework. You do need to watch,
It's not
or at
Aladdin,
least
guys.
it's not Aladdin.
Aladdin is Mena Masood.
Oh,
Yeah.
Huh?
so
It's a
what
different
role did
actor.
he play? What role
Well,
did he
I
play?
sorry, I'm just looking at one
Eman
that had
Esfandi.
Aladdin.
He was in Robert Rodriguez horror film Red 11. He had a
Oh.
small role in King Richard. I don't remember him there.
Okay, then we might not even see Ezra.
Okay, so all right, take
No,
that
what's gonna
back. So
happen is I think they're gonna find Thrawn either in the middle of the series or near the end,
Yeah,
and then we're gonna get either a mention of Ezra or see him at the end. They're gonna end with
yeah,
him, like the last scene, or
yeah,
cliffhanger.
yeah,
or if they're gonna do the alliance, then Thrawn's gonna say, "Oh, I sent Ezra on a mission,"
yeah,
and then we're gonna see the last scene where either they find him or he's like on his office on his own doing something, and then our next series is Ezra.
yeah.
That would be nice. I mean, I'd
Or
like that.
or the heir to the empire, because I think they were talking about something with Thrawn. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, I'll give it a 9.
It's
There's
just gonna be
some
hard to do the heir of the empire without Luke, Han, Leia, and who's gonna be your main protagonist,
yeah.
Mara Jade,
Yeah, well,
against
they were just
Thrawn. It's
talking
like
about it. There's no mention if it's going to be. I mean, they could do it with animation, but I don't know if they will able to do it in live action. Yeah, unless they will spend a lot of their money on de-aging and doing deep fakes of Leia and Luke and Han. Yeah, but yeah, but basically, yeah. I mean, yeah, you do need a lot of Rebels knowledge and even Clone Wars knowledge. Um, there are rumors that Anakin might show up this season, so I'd
Oh,
like to see that too.
He is already listed.
Yeah.
I think the idea is like he might actually be in multiple episodes.
Oh,
So
I hope he's a Force ghost. That
it
he's
was
talking,
so from what or at least from what I've seen on like
because Kenobi was like a flashback.
this one was going to be a flashback as well. From what I've seen,
Okay, I mean
Right.
that's not. I mean, I'll take it. And I do wish, like, first, they'll find a way to bring in Ashley, kind of like with Last of Us. They were able to bring in Ashley to to play at least something related to Ahsoka. Just like a good nod to the voice actress who basically gave Ahsoka life, right? But yeah, it's a 9 because there's still room for improvement. You know, and we need to see the ghost and Zeb and you know, and Hondo, because Hondo was a big part of the of Rebels as well. You know.
Awesome. Well, that is our initial discussion about the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. It seems shaping up to be a great series, so we hope this gets just better in the remaining 6 episodes. We'll be discussing that week on week on this particular channel. Don't forget to follow us, youtube.com/plus63hp, at +63hp, and all the socials, or on all the podcasts as well. We will see you next week. And on behalf of CHUBAX and Arnie, thank you very much for watching.